Welcome back to The Acceptance Project, a podcast where we share real stories and practical ideas to help you understand yourself a little better, build emotional strength, and make life just a bit kinder. I'm your host, Bryan. I'm really glad you're here today because we're talking about something that will absolutely change your life if you let it. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in an argument, either in person or online, and halfway through, you suddenly think, why am I even here? Why am I doing this? I don't even care enough about this situation to be in this argument. I've done that so many times, more than I actually care to even remember. Today, I want to talk about why your peace matters more than just being right, more than pleasing everyone, and definitely more than winning an argument with someone who is not even listening. We're going to add some humor, a lot of truth, and I hope by the end you feel not just inspired, but, you give yourself permission to make yourself a priority. Because here's the big idea for this episode. Your peace is not optional. It is essential, and you have the right to protect it. Some people are not having a discussion. They're building a courtroom. They're not listening to understand. They're listening to reload. You know those conversations where you can literally watch their eyes glaze over while you are speaking? They're not hearing a word you say. They are just waiting for your lips to stop moving so they can jump back in with their next point. Here's the truth. If someone is not trying to learn, not trying to grow, and not trying to understand, that is not a conversation. That is spiritual robbery. They are stealing your time, your energy, and your peace. And I had to learn this the hard way. For a long time, I thought, if I just explain it better, then they'll get it. So I would explain and explain and explain some more. And at some point, I was not even sure what the original topic was anymore, but I was committed. Then it hit me one day. I'm working way harder at this conversation than they are. I'm fighting for understanding they don't even want. So here's your permission slip. Ready? You are allowed to walk away from any interaction where your peace is paying the bill and the other person is not investing anything. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. Let me say that again. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. There is this guilt a lot of us carry that sounds like, if I put myself first, I'm selfish. No. Taking care of yourself does not make you selfish. It makes you honest. It means you understand your capacity. You know what you have to give today. Maybe tomorrow you can give more. But today you are tired. You're stretched. You're overwhelmed. You need to take care of you. You would not hand someone your last dollar and then act surprised when you cannot afford groceries. Yet we do that emotionally all the time. We give and give and give, and then we are confused when we feel empty, resentful, or even numb. I learned a long time ago not to make myself so constantly available to everyone. Not because I stopped caring, but because I started valuing my time and my energy. That is not selfish. That is stewardship. You are responsible for how you use your time, your attention, and your heart. If you give those things away at everybody's every whim, you will always feel like you are living on emotional credit. So here's a simple phrase that will save your peace. This is a big one. You ready? That simple phrase is just no. That's it. No explanation, no essay, no 14-slide PowerPoint about your emotional state. No is a complete sentence. You do not have to justify why you are saying no to anyone. If they cannot accept your no, that is their problem to work through. Those are their feelings to sort out. You are not a 24-hour emotional help desk. If you need to, you can even practice it out loud. Can you do this extra thing for me? No. Are you available to talk right now? No. What do you mean no? Oh, look at that. I'm still saying no. Now let's talk about one of the biggest thieves of peace. You probably have one in your hands right now. Social media. Social media is like a buffet. It's not all bad. There are some good things on the table. But if you're not careful, you will walk away with a plate full of stress, comparison, and outrage, and then wonder, why do you not feel so good? You might pick up your phone just to scroll for a second. Next thing you know, it's 45 minutes later and you are stressed about people you do not even know. Remember this, just because you see a post does not mean it needs your response. Some people post vague statements as a trap. You know the ones. Some people really need to learn how to act. No names, no details, just enough drama to make everyone wonder, is that about me? It's bait. I call this fishing. They throw the line out and sit quietly, waiting for the first person to come along with the, "Oh, how are you? What's wrong? How can I help?" They want you to jump in, comment, argue, drag other people into it. Then suddenly you're in a full conflict that exists entirely in a text thread. You do not have to reply. You do not have to fix it. You do not have to defend yourself to people who are clearly auditioning for a reality show in their head. Just keep scrolling. Because here's what happens when you take a bait. You lose time. You lose sleep. You start predicting what their next comment will be. You rehearse what you wish you had said the first time. The argument ends, but the mental debate keeps going in your head for another 3 days. And for what? What did you gain? Did you grow? Did you feel closer to your values, or did you just feel exhausted? Your peace is worth more than the satisfaction of typing the perfect comeback. You do not have to join every comment section battle that appears on your screen. You can simply say, "Not today," in your mind and move on with your life. So let's talk about one of the most powerful tools on social media. I found this tool a long time ago and I have used it, and I use it often. That's the unfollow button, not the delete or unfriend, just the unfollow button. Most of the time when we unfollow someone, it's not because we are evil. It's not because we want to ruin their life. It is because their presence on our feed is stealing our peace. Maybe every post leaves you feeling small, angry, judged, or drained, so you hit unfollow. That is you trying to reclaim your peace. Now here's where it gets funny and real. We hit unfollow. We feel better. And then, a day later, what do? We go right back to their page just to see what they've posted. That is like taking the garbage out to the curb, feeling proud of yourself, then sneaking back out at midnight to sit down by the can and start sorting through it in case there is something in there you want to keep. No, leave it. It is garbage. It is out there for a reason. If you had strength to unfollow, have strength to not dig through what you just removed from your life. You do not need to stalk what you walked away from. You do not need to monitor the peace thief. You are allowed to simply let them go. Your nervous system will thank you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do to protect your peace is to create distance. Distance from a person, distance from a situation, or maybe even distance from a pattern that keeps hurting you. That distance does not mean you hate them. It does not mean you have banished them from your life forever. It simply means that, well, for right now, you need space to reclaim your peace and to be in an environment that feels safe and calm. If they truly care about you, they will respect that. We do not solve problems when both people are flooded with emotions and unable to hear one another. When you or the other person is so fired up that you are just listening to create a rebuttal, nothing good happens. You're not having a conversation, you're having a competition. So sometimes the most loving, peaceful thing you can say is, "I care about this and I care about you, but right now I need some space. We can come back to this when we're both ready to listen, not just argue." You are not responsible for fixing every relationship in real time. You are responsible for not sacrificing your mental health in the process. Distance used wisely is not cruelty, it's clarity. All right, so let's get practical for a moment. Let's think about some ways that we can start protecting our peace this week. First thing we want to do is practice the pause before reply. So before you respond to that text, comment, or post that triggers you, pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, you are allowed to walk away. Number 2, set availability hours. You do not have to be emotionally available 24 hours a day. Decide when you will answer texts, messages, or emails, and when you will not. You train people how to treat your time by how you use your time. Next, choose one place to say no this week. Just one. One extra obligation, one social invite, one favor you genuinely do not have the energy for, just say no. Then watch how it feels to honor your limits. Next thing is clean up your feed. Unfollow or mute accounts that drain you. and then resist the urge to go dig in the garbage. When it's gone, let it stay gone. Next thing to do is create a peace ritual. Maybe it's 5 minutes of deep breathing, maybe it's reading a book, journaling, or sitting outside for a moment. Something you do daily that says, I am worth this time. Next thing is realize your peace is sacred. I want you to think of your peace as something sacred, not fragile, but valuable. You would not hand your house keys to a stranger, so stop handing your inner calm to every person who wants to argue, every post that wants to bait you, and every obligation that shows up uninvited. Your peace is not a prize someone else gets to win. It is a home you build inside yourself. You are allowed to say no to arguments that are really just ego battles. No to people who treat your time like it's disposable. No to social media drama that leaves you exhausted. You are allowed to say yes to space and boundaries, and yes to imperfect, messy self-care that says, today I am choosing me. Not forever, not at the expense of everyone else, but enough so that you have something real and healthy to give when you do show up for others. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Actually, if we're honest, most of us are trying to pour from the fumes at the bottom of the cup. So this week, I want you to try something. When you feel that old urge to jump into an argument, explain yourself endlessly, or scroll yourself into stress, stop and ask, is this protecting my peace or draining it? If it is draining it, you already know what to do. You can unfollow, you can walk away, you can say no, you can choose distance, you can choose you. We find ourselves very quickly, it seems, in the middle of the holiday season, when we are being tugged in different directions. Maybe it's attending holiday parties, hosting dinners, buying presents, participating in the traditions or customs that steal our peace. Take time this holiday to be as kind to yourself as you have been to others. Again, it isn't selfish. It's refilling your cup so you can then pour into someone else's. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Your peace, it's sacred. You're not required to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. You are allowed to value your time, your heart, and your energy. If someone cannot respect your decisions, your boundaries, or your need for space, that does not make you wrong. It just means they have work to do with their own expectations. In the words of Mel Robbins, let them. Your job is to protect your peace so that when you do show up in this world, you show up as the truest version of you. Not the version who is exhausted and resentful, but the version who is grounded, clear, and present. I appreciate you taking the time to listen today. If anything you heard today felt meaningful to you, consider sharing it with someone who might find it helpful. Your shares help us reach more people like you who may need that extra encouragement or reminder that they matter. And if you haven't already, please like and follow the show so you don't miss future episodes. And just remember, your peace is not selfish. So until next time, take care of yourself and take care of those around you. The Acceptance Project is a production of Bridging Success, LLC. To learn more about the podcast and our work, please visit bridgingsuccess.com. This podcast and its content are for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. I'm Dr. Bryan Gross, but I'm not a licensed therapist. The topics and opinions shared by me and any guests are our own and should not replace professional or medical advice. If you are seeking mental health support, medical guidance, or help with personal matters, please reach out to a licensed professional who can provide the individual support you need.